Tesla Autopilot loses its strongest rival as GM halts Super Cruise rollout. Now, I'm wondering, before we get into the article, I'm wondering if it's because they can't get the chips to do it. Tesla's Autopilot, most formidable rival from legacy auto, is on a break, with General Motors confirming that its flagship driver assist system, Super Cruise, is unavailable for now. The culprit behind this is, quite unsurprisingly, the ongoing semiconductor shortage, which we just talked about in the last video. So if you haven't watched that, get subscribed and go check out the last video I just put up about GM taking control of their chip supply. So if you're not familiar with the Super Cruise system, to the best of my knowledge, what it does is they had people with like all kinds of cameras and LiDAR or radar drive down, kind of like a Google Maps, and they drove all the highways to map everything. And then they took that information, put it into a Cadillac, and called it Super Cruise. And if you're on one of those highways, it can navigate the highway system on its own, mostly autonomously, right? As far as I know. So let's see. A Cadillac spokesperson confirmed that Super Cruise is not being released to any of the company's to any of the company's vehicles from now. It's not just the Escalade either, as the Cadillac spokesperson also confirmed that the CT4 and CT5, the next two cars expected to receive an advanced driver assist system, would also not be released with Super Cruise for the current model year. So this further is the chip shortage biting them in the butt, and they're saying, well, we can't just keep these cars on the sidelines. We need to make money because we've paid all these people and paid for the products and everything to put the car together, and now it's just sitting on the sideline not being sold. Super Cruise is an important feature for the Cadillac Escalade program, although it's temporarily unavailable at the start of the regular production due to the industry-wide shortage of semiconductors. We're confident in our team's ability to find creative solutions to mitigate the supply chain situation and resume offering blah, blah, blah. The semiconductor shortage resulted in us postponing the full launch of Super Cruise in our sedans until model year 2022. Now the 2022 CT4s and CT5s will be available with Super Cruise in the first half of next year. GM has big plans for Super Cruise, though this recent halt seems to be the latest roadblock in the automaker's efforts for the system's wide rollout. Prior to this recent announcement, Super Cruise rollout met with some speed bumps as the Chevy Bolt and EUV were meant to be equipped with the system faced a production halt due to the battery fire recall and replacement campaign. Being one of the best reviewed driver assist systems on the market, Super Cruise is equipped with features that are quite comparable to Tesla's Autopilot. Unlike Autopilot, however, Super Cruise only works on pre-mapped highways, making it somewhat limited. I would say pretty limited. Personally, it is nevertheless impressive, with Consumer Reports dubbing it as the best active driving assistance system in the market last year. So I think that it that's awesome, but since it's such a predetermined system that it can utilize, kind of creates a problem when you're like, oh well, what's next? What's the next step? And in GM's case, with their Super Cruise system, this means that they're not setting themselves up for success for the road ahead. They're trying to offer something right now. What can we do? We put cameras, we put systems on a car. We go out. I think they contracted a third-party company for this, and they drive around to map everything the way it is today, but that doesn't mean that that's the way it's going to be tomorrow. And by utilizing, I know Elon is not a big fan of LiDAR, but utilizing LiDAR and cameras, they are enabling the car to be able to navigate itself on a highway. That's awesome, but as highways continue to change, they're going to have to go back and remap that, and that does nothing for the future of being able to like get in my car and then just be like boop boop boop, or just tell it I want to go here. and it backs out of your driveway and takes you to wherever you want to go. That's the future. And even though it's taking Tesla longer than I'm sure Elon would like to admit or wants it to take, it is the better option going forward because of the fact that they're enabling themselves to have the time to develop cameras to be able to do all of the things. That doesn't mean that we should go to sleep and take a nap in our car yet. And if you do, you're doing it wrong. So I'm open to the idea that that Super Cruise could work, and maybe it is their first, their baby step into it, and that's why they're doing it with Cadillac to start, and this really puts a hamper on it. But I still think that it's not the ultimate. It's not the ultimate solution, and that Tesla is going to be that much further ahead of them down the road. And I mean, I even if Teslas don't drive, their autopilot doesn't drive as good as Super Cruise does right now, the opportunity for the Teslas to drive better is there and will absolutely get there, even if GM might be beating them in the short term, with what they decided to roll out with.